right, so welcome everyone to episode 2 of my podcast. Welcome everyone, Instagram, Facebook, you are live. Everyone else, you can watch back the playbacks or you're watching them right now. And so let's jump into things. And so this first segment we're going to start doing in the podcast is gratitude. We're going to be talking about the things that make you grateful. So let's get started with gratitude time. All right, so a couple things. When you wake up in the morning, what's up, Sam? When you wake up in the morning, you should be grateful for things that you normally don't think about. So like for me, some of the things I'm going to talk about today is like I'm grateful for my legs. I love to be able to walk, run after my child. I'm grateful that I have a family that I can provide for and that they love me as well. So those are some of the things that I'm grateful for. Maybe you guys have some things that you're grateful for as well. It'd be it's good to sit there first thing in the morning when you wake up and have gratitude rather than attitude, because they both are on the opposite end of the spectrum. When you have gratitude, you're much happier, you're much more fulfilled. When you have attitude, you start your day off on the wrong foot. So that's what I got for you guys today for gratitude time. Moving on to the next segment, which is the main segment. Let's be real. It's a real topic out there. Bullying is what we're going to be talking about today. It's one of those things where people bully other people. And a lot of times some people also mislabel people that are in quote bullying. So based on Websters Dictionary, the definition of bullying is abuse and mistreatment of someone vulnerable by someone stronger, more powerful. So it's the actions and behaviors of a bully. And so the definition of a bully is a blustering, browbeating person, especially one who is habitually cruel, insulting, or threatening to others who are weaker or smaller in some vulnerable way. Now, I look at this and yes, I've been bullied myself. I talked about in the first podcast where I did go through some bullying in middle school and some other times. But there's a big difference between bullying and being an asshole. I know some of you are going to look at that and be like, well, aren't they the same thing? No, really. Bullying is more on the terms of something that is happening over and over and over. Yes, you can be an asshole over and over to somebody. But the definition of an asshole is someone who is stupid, annoying, or detestable. And so it's one of those things where you can be an asshole to someone, but you're not a bully. You say the wrong thing, or your opinion's a little bit more stronger than theirs, and they take it a certain way. So really there's a big distinction between them. And I know for myself growing up, when I was being bullied, it didn't always come from the same person. Sometimes you can have groups of people that bully you. And so I was kind of interested. So I looked up some statistics on bullying. And it says 28% of United States students in grades 6 through 12 experience bullying, and 20% through the grades 9 and 12. So, it's about 1 in 5, 1 in 4 sometimes being bullied. That's a lot of people being bullied. And so some being, they also have the number of others bullying is approximately 30% of young people admit to bullying others. And that's a pretty staggering number, considering this next one is even more staggering. 70% of young people see other kids being bullied. And 70% of school staff have seen it. 62% have witnessed it 2 or more times in a month period, and 41% witness it more than once a week. And so it's pretty crazy how much it's being seen. Now, there's also a big distinction, like I said before, between bully and asshole. There's a lot of people that will say something, because kids are mean. Like, let's face it. Kids come up with some mean comments. They have no filter. And so what can be construed as bullying is sometimes just a kid being an asshole. And it's one of those things where you have to look at it and go, okay, what's really happening? Is it a stronger individual undermining and coming after a weak kid, or is it they had a difference of opinions and one beat the other one up because he didn't like the other one's opinion? I mean, is it things like that? So 9% of students in grades 6 through 12 are being cyberbullied, which I thought that number would be a lot higher, given the fact that we have so many social media platforms, so many different ways to communicate now. And it's at 15% of high school students were bullied last year. However, 55% of the LGBTQ community experiences cyberbullying. That's not surprising to me, because there are still a lot of people that are ignorant of the society out there, of the LGBT, and that these people are real people and have feelings too. And they're just being idiots, and bullying these people is just totally messed up. And so some of the things I noticed that they were talking about is most bullying happens in middle school, which is very common. Like that's mainly most of the time I went through bullying, was in middle school, a little bit in high school. High school gets a little bit different because I feel like you have a lot more open space in high school. You can kind of find a clique and just kind of, get yourself away from the people. Whereas in like middle school, I think it's like a class of 30 in your 7th and 8th grade classes, and you're stuck with the same kids for like the 3 years you're in middle school. So, it tends to go a lot longer. Young people who are perceived as different from their peers are often at risk of being bullied, which that's no surprise there. I mean, let's be real. Anytime people get bullied is because they don't fit the social norm. A lot of times I was bullied was because either my lisp, I talk differently than somebody, or I look differently than somebody, or my clothes were different than somebody. And so people wanted to bully me and make fun of me for not being the hip kid, not having the expensive clothing, or whatever it is that they deemed was the appropriate reason that they wanted to bully somebody. And so bullying is not usually a simple interaction between a student who bullies and a student who is bullied. It sometimes involves groups of students who support each other. So this is where hazing kind of comes in too. And there's been a lot of debate about hazing and whether it's bullying or if it's just a fun social activity, which I don't believe in hazing. I think it's cruel. I think it falls under the bullying aspect. And so for people who sit there and think it's okay to haze, take a step back and look at, would you want that done to you? More than likely, you've had it done to you. That's why you're on the other end of it now, hazing. And that's where the perpetual cycle is always continuing with all of these different things, with bullying, with hazing, with all of these things. You have this endless cycle of people wanting to go one after another, and nobody breaks the cycle. And so bullying affects many youth, but it also can affect people in adulthood too. I know I've been somebody who has been bullied in my adulthood. People have come after me. People still come after me today and, write me comments about me or send me direct messages with some pretty hateful stuff in it. And this is where I get into the whole thing where, based on the definition of bullying, I look at it and it says that it's when someone takes on, somebody acts behavior towards somebody who is weaker than them. I don't think that I fall into that category anymore because I don't feel myself as weaker than that person. I've now transpired that person from being a bully to being an asshole. They're just somebody that annoys me, that's detestable, and I just ignore them. And so it's one of the ways that you can take being bullied and flip it around and just be like, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this asshole. I'm not going to deal with this ignorant person. And so, and let's be real, everyone has moments of being an asshole. Everyone has moments of being somebody who, look, some days you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You get this sense of like, I'm in a shitty mood. somebody says something and it rubs you the wrong way, and you come back with a comment, and it offends them or it makes them upset. And I've done it. I know I've done it because I've had people tell me, hey, that was kind of a dick move. That was kind of an asshole comment. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I'm just not in a good mood today. I didn't mean to offend you, or whatever the case may be. But it's one of those things where, yes, I bullied somebody when I was in middle school, but that was because I was being bullied. Was it right? No, it wasn't right. It's never right to bully somebody. And so the fact that I was able to comprehend this as I got into high school made it easier for me to interact with everybody in high school. Even now to this day, I can interact with anybody because I don't judge people. I don't sit there and bully somebody based on their preference. And that's one of the main reasons why people bully or come at people, and you see these hate protests and all this, because of the ignorance of not loving the fellow human. And so bullying at its core is really just somebody who is miserable with what they have, who wants to bring somebody else down to that misery, that wants them to feel as bad as they do. So they want to bring them down so that they can either climb above them or make themselves feel better. And so there's two people in society. There's ones that help build others up, and there's others that tear people down. So as I wrap this up, let's go into some questions here, which
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. What?
So I don't have any questions submitted yet, obviously, because we're still pretty young on this podcast, but I do have some questions for you guys. Which some of the questions I have is: have you ever been bullied, or are you still being bullied? And if so, reach out to somebody for help. Reach out to somebody you care about. Reach out to somebody you know and love that will support you. And find the strength to realize that if you are somebody listening to this and you're in middle school, you're in high school, from somebody who's been through this, hey, it's not the end of the world. Trust me. I've been through some pretty effed up things with bullying. I would say about one person out of the entire middle school and high school population that you're in, you'll probably see again. So there was a couple bullies I saw at my 10-year high school reunion a couple years ago. And the funny thing is, we had a beer, we laughed about it, and I pretty much forgave and forgot about all of it. And the funny thing is one of the guys there has a kid of his own, and so I don't know if he may be going through the same things now, and he sees what's happening. So you never know when you grow up and you're the person who's been bullying, your kid may end up being bullied, and now you're like, well, shit, what do I do here? I was on the other end of it. Now I'm seeing what the effects caused. And so really reach out to somebody and just know that it's going to be okay, that life in that moment isn't going to be what defines your entire life. And so the last question is, have you ever bullied somebody, or do you feel like maybe you were just being an asshole? Really think about the times that you interacted. Say you're watching this and you're in middle school and you were picking on a kid the other day, or you're in high school and you're watching this, and you think about it, you're like, man, was I just being a dick, or am I being a bully? Like, am I habitually antagonizing this person and making them feel like utter shit in their current life state? And so I implore you to just kind of reflect on your emotions and just look at it and feel empathy towards the person, and maybe go up to him and be like, hey dude, or girl or whatever, and just apologize and make things right. And that's the bigger thing to do. That's the more mature thing to do. Because once you get older, you realize that 99% of the people you see in middle school and high school, you really don't see anymore. I mean, yeah, we have friends on social media with Facebook and all that, but do you ever really see them? Do you ever really talk to them? There's a lot of the people that I see from high school that sometimes I actively engage in comments or try to, still have some kind of interaction with on social media, just be like, because they were good friends. They were people that I thoroughly enjoyed their company. But in the end, we all have lives. We all have our things to do. So that's why once you get out of high school and even college, life is all about what you make it. It's all about how you strive and get to where you want to go. So that's what I got for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed it, leave a comment on whatever platform you're on, whatever, if you're watching the playbacks. Thank you for all the people that came in and joined me on live. Subscribe and follow for more content. There'll be more coming out. Like I said, podcast is weekly on Thursdays. Every chance I get, I'll try to do it live. If not, then you'll just have to look for the posts and search it up on SoundCloud. I have the link to my SoundCloud on all my socials. If not, just search me up, Chris McCarthy. If you're listening to this on SoundCloud and you want to go see the YouTube version, just go to YouTube, look for Chris McCarthy, and go there, and you can see my pretty face. What's up, YouTube? So yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and God bless.